Okay, today I'm going to go and check out some of the museums and things around Reykjavik and some other bits and pieces, and we can see what we can see, and I hope you enjoy the video. So this is 9 o'clock in the morning in Reykjavik, so just saying it, as I'm in travelling around in January, it does become light quite late. Okay, so that's our second experience, the Wales of Iceland, and then the first one is over there, the Flyover Iceland. Kind of doing things the closest to me. I'm going to go to the hotel I'm going to do last, and then because there's some stuff on the other side than this stuff, so I'm going to do all this stuff here and film as much as I can. I can't necessarily film the flyover experience, but I can describe the sensory stuff that you get, because they add extra sensory things like wind and rain, presumably, and all that other stuff, or things to make you feel like you're flying over Iceland. So that's something I'll do afterwards, but it's not quite open yet, so I will get over there and do that. Pretty much all the museums, at least this time of year, every other time of year, open at 10 o'clock. So, where this opens at 9:30, so I've got something to do. Okay, so the ride is very similar to the Mythica ride on in Legoland, Windsor. There are bits where it sprays like mist with water, and there's one point of smoke. There is a bit where you fly through fireworks around the church that I cannot pronounce the name of at the moment. But most of it's that kind of very gentle movement, and it's a lot about what you're actually watching, like a plane going, so then it kind of dips the course of it. I thought it was reasonably good, and I didn't necessarily feel sick or anything on it. There is a lot of wind out at the moment, so we should go over there. But yeah, there is bits and pieces and sensory stuff. I was glad that I put my face mask on, so that cut a little bit of it out, so I didn't necessarily get as much as I could do, but I still got a lot of the experience. It is a fun experience if you like kind of the look of nature and all that kind of stuff. It's just cool anyway to fly over lots of things in Iceland, because it does look like something a lot of the time from a myths and legends book, more than actually a place. So it is a cool thing. I'll put all the pricing and stuff at the end. I know I haven't got the middle bit, but of course they don't allow you to film. But one, because you wouldn't necessarily get as much of the experience, and two, you don't really want to spoil it. There is two sections before you get to the actual ride. One of a guy that's like in a Viking thing talking about the strength of the Vikings and things like that, or the Icelandic people. And then there's a troll that explains certain things, and and then you actually get to the ride. I was on a section where I had to walk upstairs, but they presumably wouldn't make you do that if you had mobility issues. But I'm not sure about how to get into the other seats if you did that. As I say, you do get strapped in, but it's around the belt, so it's not, that the movement isn't going to be that bad, because if it was any worse they would put it over your shoulders and then have something strapping you in. So as I say, it's actually quite gentle movement, but it does feel really effective. So I'd say if you like the Legoland Windsor one, try this one out, and as I say, I really enjoyed the experience, and let's get on to something else. I think we should just be going around there and go to the whale experience. Okay, let's see if we can do the whales. This is generally cool, standing like right under these kind of things. It's really cool. Nice experience of whales. There's lots of information about them all, and also it's just interesting walking around things that are that size. That's the size they are. So, as I say, put all the information, the video, what it costs and all that stuff, and below to those interested in visiting. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it is really quite a nice experience to do. Now, let's continue on. I think I need to walk back where I was going. Also, I believe that's a supermarket, so if you need anything, you can just go there and get some bits if you're between 8 and 9. Okay, there is also a bonus supermarket, which I always think they look a little bit like green garden centres in some ways. But this is what we're actually going to. We're going to the Saga Museum over here. So basically we're going to do some Vikings, because I feel like you need a certain level of Vikings when you go to an Iceland, or basically anywhere the Vikings were. You need to have a certain level of actually visiting and seeing the information about them. And apologies for the wind. Okay, the Saga Museum, you get a little audio guide to go with it that has like 17 things on it. It's about half an hour, I think. But it does add to... It's not just repeating what's on the, cards in front of each one. It does actually add to the stories and explains a lot about the kind of Viking era of one settlement and then beyond. I mean, I always think it's interesting that Iceland became Christian basically by a ruling of them working out if they should do it or not, and then they can, the old gods, they can still worship but in private. So it's like most other things had very bitter wars to say, what religion something is, where Iceland basically voted it or decided it, and was like, nope, overnight, we've done, and that's all sorted. And then of course Christianity slightly changed later on, because of things going on, but there's some interesting things in there and interesting stories, and of course there's some other people I'd never heard of before, so interesting stories and well worth a visit. I'm going to show you bits and pieces of what it looks like, just in this section before, but it does actually add a lot to the experience, and of course I can't necessarily record what the audio is in my ears, so. Now I'm walking back from all the things on the other side of my hotel room, and see what they are. I'm trying to work out my funds at the moment, because everything in Iceland you have to pay for, and it's not necessarily the cheapest. So let's do this. Iceland at the moment, so I just thought it was the furthest thing away, and of course it's raining, but let's do that and then we'll come back to the museum. Google Maps is telling me all over the place, and I was a bit confused, so I might just go to the settlement now and let's see what this is like. Okay, so you can either go up with either using the lift or taking the stairs. So that's one way of getting further up if you need to actually have issues stairs. And of course you've got the theatre in front of you at the moment. This is the middle between the 10th century, the old 1000 and the 1900. So 1906 up and above. So let's go.
Problems are over. My breath is much sweeter. Isn't it awfully expensive? Yes.
Ton of farmers from this point. and military. And of course about the Reykjavik youth. The Irish bar, and down there you get the English bar, which I haven't seen something called an English bar in quite a long time. Not sure if ever really, because you know, Irish bars are more common I suppose, but there is definitely an English bar down there. It is just genuinely called the English bar, and has Guinness signs all over it, which is kind of interesting. The laundromat cafe is supposed to be quite good at that. I'm not going to eat at it, but it is supposed to be really quite good, and it has got lots of best awards all over the windows. Lots of the sides of Reykjavik I haven't shown you, so there's plenty of opportunity for me to come back and show you some more of what I've seen, what I can do. Hopefully I'll film them all in the right aspect ratio this time, and frame rate and all that. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed myself here. As I say, it's quite relaxed. It's a very small population compared to quite a lot of places, even for the size of the country. So it's been quite calm and relaxing, really. But yeah, I've just gone to a main road, so if you can hear me at all, I hope you've enjoyed the video. See you on the next one, and like, subscribe and all those, and share all any videos that you think are worth it. So see you later, guys.